Hey y'all, sorry I'm out again today. We are doing more of what we did yesterday, practicing those sum and difference formulas. But now we're going to be verifying that the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. So again, we are not touching the right-hand side. We're going to mess with just the left-hand side and see if we can turn it into the right-hand side. So on the left-hand side, we have tangent, and we're going to use our sum formula for tangent. So we're going to take tangent of the first angle x plus tangent of pi over 4 and divide by 1 minus tangent of x times tangent of pi over 4. Now, tangent of x we can't do anything with, but pi over 4 is a value that we can actually evaluate, and that's like 45 degrees, pi over 4 being the radians there. So we know that that is root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. So we can go ahead and evaluate tangent there, tangent being sine over cosine, that's just going to be 1. So every time I see tangent of pi over 4, I'm going to go ahead and replace that with a 1. 1 minus tangent of x times 1. All right, so now we have tangent of x plus 1 over 1 minus tangent of x. Now I'm going to start changing these into sine and cosine because over here, notice what I'm going for on the right is in terms of sine and cosine. So tangent is, of course, sine x over cosine x plus 1. I'm going to rewrite it as cosine x over cosine x so that I can actually add those. This is all being divided by 1 minus tangent x. I'm going to make this 1 also cosine x over cosine x so that I can subtract sine x over cosine x. All right, now on the left-hand side, I get sine x plus cosine x all over cosine x divided by cosine x minus sine x all over cosine x. Invert and multiply. Sine x plus cosine x all over cosine x being multiplied by cosine x over cosine x minus sine x. The cosines cancel out, and we are left with sine x plus cosine x divided by cosine x minus sine x. And now this is very, very similar to what we have up top. The only difference is the order of this portion right here. I was not expecting that to be that, sorry. This portion right here, and order doesn't matter with addition, so we are done, and we have done it. All right, so let's look at this next one. This next one is now would be a difference formula if we were trying to do tangent here. But I see tangent is, I'm trying to turn it into cotangent. I might try doing this by going to sine and cosine. So again, we could try something and it might not work out, and then you would try another strategy. I'm showing you that this is an option. So tangent of pi over 2 minus x is the same as sine of pi over 2 minus x divided by the cosine of pi over 2 minus x. So as long as we're doing both of those, sine evaluated there and cosine evaluated there, we can do that. And now we can use our difference formulas from yesterday. This is going to get a little bit ugly because we're going to have a difference formula for sine on the top and the difference formula for cosine on the bottom. But let's just go ahead and start. Sine of pi over 2, again, you should have your green sheet in front of you to make this a little bit easier, times the cosine of x minus the cosine now of pi over 2 times the sine of x. I think it might be easier just to look at the big division symbol here for a second until we get a little further. Cosine is then cosine of pi over 2 times cosine of x. The cosines, remember, go together, and then opposite signs. So this is going to be plus. Now our signs go together. Sine of pi over 2 times the sine of x. Okay. Pi over 2 is the same as 90 degrees. So the ordered pair here is 0, 1. So sine of pi over 2 is 1, our height, and cosine of pi over 2 is just 0. So every time we see those, we can go ahead and replace them. So sine over pi over 2, I'm going to replace with 1 times the cosine of x minus 0 times the sine of x, all being divided by cosine of pi over 2, again, is going to be 0 times the cosine of x plus 1 times the sine of x. All right, well, 0 times anything is just 0, so these two, these two are, oh, come on now. These two are just going to go away. The ones don't really change anything, so we're left with cosine x over sine x, and we know that that is equal to cotangent x, and we are done because we matched the other side. All right, let's give this one a try. So we're going to use our difference formulas again here for cosine. So we're going to start with, oh my goodness, try again. We're going to start with cosine of pi over 2 times cosine of x plus sine of pi over 2 times the sine of x. And then pi over 2 again is 90 degrees, so we know that cosine is 0. So cosine 0 times cosine x plus sine is going to be 1 times sine x. This just goes away. 1 times sine x is, of course, just sine x. And we did it again. Not so bad, right? Okay, this one's a little bit ugly because now we have two different identities happening. So we're going to deal with both of these, starting with cosine 3 pi over 2 minus x, and then we'll do the plus. So we're going to take cosine 3 pi over 2 minus x. Oh, not minus x. Wow. Try again. Times cosine of x. And then plus sine of 3 pi over 2 times the sine of x. And again, this is all just for this one. And then we still are going to add the next one, which is going to be cosine of 3 pi over 2 times the cosine of x minus, the only difference here then being the minus, sine of 3 pi over 2 times the sine of x. All right, and this portion coming from here now. Okay, so what do we notice that's kind of key importance here? If we look right here, I have this plus of this business and minus of the same exact business, and we're adding those together, so that's highly convenient because those are just going to cancel out, again, because one is positive and one is negative. So then I end up with cosine 3 pi over 2 times cosine x plus cosine 3 pi over 2 times cosine x. So that gives me 2 cosine 3 pi over 2 times cosine of x. Well, 3 pi over 2 is now 270 instead of pi. So again, our ordered pair is going to be 0, negative 1. But the cosine value here is 0. So we get 2 times 0 times the cosine of x, which is just 0. So that's pretty simple. All right, you are going to try the next page, the homework page, which is 681, and your delta math, and that's what you're working on today.